the only way I know. It took some time, but then I saw the light, telling me which way I need to go to get me to Whiskey Row. To get me to Whiskey Row, yeah. Cell phone ringing, tweeter tweeting, emails by the score. I've got what some others would deny. A buyer by a railroad track, an open road, and don't look back. See the light and know which way to go to get me to Whiskey Row. To get me to Whiskey Row, yeah. Take the high road, ask me if I care. I did my 9 to 5 and got nowhere. See you work your fingers to the bone. Makes more sense to me if we all go down the Whiskey Row. Down the Whiskey Row. Whiskey Row. Down the Whiskey Row. Down the Whiskey Row. Down the Whiskey Row. Take me down the Whiskey Row. Down the Whiskey Row. Whiskey Row. Down to Whiskey Row.
Roberts, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Jim.
Hey.
Hi, Denny Roberts. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing real good, my man. I heard some of our tunes being played. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. I love that CD, man.
Well, I'm glad you like it. That's fun for us, getting heard. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, I seen a few people, bopping their heads in the audience there, and there's a lot of catchy tunes on there. You wrote all those songs yourself?
Yeah, I wrote, there's 13 songs on that CD, and I wrote with help, of course, 12 of them. One of them, Close to Home, was written by a friend of mine. Jimmy Powers and I, my lead guitar player, he and I write most of the tunes.
How long did it take you to record the whole album?
We go back about 5 years with it, and I guess took time to write all the songs, and I probably wrote with help with guys in the band, mostly Jimmy Powers. Probably wrote 25, 30 songs over the years, and we took 13 of what we thought were the best ones and put them on the album. And what can I say? We're having a good time.
Now, you did a show last night, you said, right?
No, I was at a show last night.
I thought you were performing last night.
No. I went. A couple of my guys were playing a live show last night, and I went to support them and had a good time. Jimmy Powers put a new band together, and we all play whatever. Everybody has a different thing going on right now. I put a show together for about 2 hours, possibly 2.5 hours, and if we can get enough airplay and generate enough interest, maybe we can get out and get some bookings. That's why the airplay is important. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, social media is like it's like a great platform now because you don't necessarily have to, you know, rely on just a radio station to play your music. You know what I mean? Like you can share everything. You know, on if you have a Facebook, you know, group page or a fan page, and you know, then you have YouTube where you can post. I know you're now Mark. Is he your cousin or your nephew?
Mark is my cousin, and he does our videos. He does our artwork. He did the artwork on the Long Road Home album. And he's. I love Mark.
Yeah, he does a good job with those videos. Oh yeah, that's how I heard the music because you know we always trade like you know whenever he gets like new CDs or whatever. You know, he'll send me the files, and then whatever ones I get, I send him. And I seen he posted your video on his page, and I sort of listened to him. And he said, "Oh, that's you know, I'm related to that guy." So I was like, "Oh, I really like that."
Cousin, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I really like the song. I'm like, "Do you think you can get him to come on the show?" And he's like, "I'll ask him." And here we are. You know, only a couple of weeks later.
We got to do it again without the breakups and whatnot.
No,
that kind of threw me off. I didn't know what to talk about.
Yeah, I know. And the thing was, you know, I record the shows. So this one is basically, it's going to be scrapped because I can't do it.
We'll have to do this again. I understand that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's a Skype phone line. Okay, I don't know if you've ever heard of Skype.
Yeah, I have. I don't do it, but I know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but I mean, it just kept saying something about leaving messages and press this button, press that button, and I could see it threw you off, threw me off. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but
yeah.
But you know, back to what we were talking about with Mark. You know, he has a page on YouTube, I believe, and he posts your music on that as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you know, he told me that he you know, he made that video for I guess it's the Long Road Home, right?
Yeah, he made Close to Home, Long Road Home, Whiskey Row, and several others. He does a good job.
Now all the songs that are on those CDs, are those the lyrics that you wrote for those songs, are those from personal experiences or just something you thought would, you know, make a good song? I mean, like
well, that's part of it. But I looked at you know, what I looked at. What I had to look at was my surroundings and the things that have gone on in my life. For instance, Time on My Hands, that was written for my wife, and that was about when I was on the road and not making any money and pretending that I was, and doing the whole thing with Nashville and running around the country, thinking I was going to become the next country superstar.
Right.
It didn't work. You know, so I wrote Time on My Hands for her because I had time on my hands and I couldn't wait to get home to her. And if you listen to the lyrics, you would understand how I felt about, you know, wanting to come home. In fact, Close to Home, written by Craig Abernathy, Close to Home struck me in the heart because I spent a lot of time on the road with my music in the 80s and radio stuff and promo things and whatnot, and it was not easy. And Close to Home also is part of how I feel about out there and wanting to get home real bad to the girl you love or your wife or family or whatever. So yeah, my songs are about what I've experienced. Devil in the Bottle, well, you know, some of it is a little outrageous. I'm not an alcoholic. I mean, but you know, basically I write what I know about, and I write about my life and what, you know, that's it.
Yeah. One of the listeners wants to know, who is your favorite artist?
Oh, that's a good one. Favorite artist. Favorite artist. I'll tell you what. My favorite guitar players are Jimmy Powers, Eric Clapton, Glenn Campbell, Vince Gill, Brad Paisley, and that's about it for that. Mm-hmm. Groups, Eagles, Charlie Daniels Band, Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers, mm-hmm. Elvis, Willie, Waylon, Merle Haggard, some of the guys from the 70s and 80s, I can't think of all their names at this moment, but the early guys in country music, when country music wasn't so poppy and bubblegum and overproduced, in my opinion, when country was country. Merle and Willie and stuff, guys like that, Conway Twitty. Mm-hmm. Those are the guys I listened to, and those are the guys I looked up to and respected. Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash. Yeah. George Jones, real country people.
Yeah, they're
the ones.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. Like, it seems like more today. It's more like crossover, like poppy. It's not like those guys. Back then they were the guys who ruled.
They didn't have to have fireworks and balloons and all that stuff on the stage with them.
No,
right.
They just were good songwriters and they just sang.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about that today because I was actually listening to. I was playing some of your music earlier, and then we were listening to Ronnie Millsap, and I love
him.
Oh, he's great, and
I have his CDs. I have 4 or 5 of them. I love him. Yeah.
And I was saying that nowadays, really, one of the only new artists that I really, really like is Chris Stapleton.
Oh, okay.
He's cool. Just kind of that throwback a little bit to maybe like an Allman Brothers sound or more that gravelly, just singing from your heart, playing the guitar. Like you said, not overproduced. Right.
That's what I like. That's what most people want. The radio, I don't know what happened to Nashville radio. I don't listen to it anymore. It's like, they're crazy.
It's watered down and people using auto-tune and stuff like that. They're not real, to me, they're not real country.
Well, I think it's that way across the board with all music now.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's pop, country, rock, whatever it is, it's just mass-produced, like you said. There's got to be fireworks. It's not just about the instrument and the artist.
Now
I'm surrounded by really good artists, and they support me, and God bless me for being that lucky.
How long have you been playing with the band?
12 years. I met them in '06. I'm a retired truck driver. I put my 25, 30 years in on the road, and came out to Phoenix in '03 actually. And in '06, I met the Plumtones. I went to Fullwell Studio. I met Mike Bolenbach, and I said I had a demo, time on my hands. I'd like to play my guitar and sing it. And he said, okay, go ahead. And I did it. And he said, I have a band that might want to record behind you on it. And that's how that happened. It was like accidental. The Plumtones came in, and I heard them play, and I said, oh, my God, I've never been around musicians that are that good. I mean, I was really impressed, and they agreed to cut the tune with me, and then we became friendly, and we started writing and playing together, and it's been good ever since. And I'm having a blast right now. Talking to you about it is so crazy. It's fun. You know?
I mean, we got two more. Danny, we got 2 more questions. Here's question number 1. One of the listeners wants to know, where are you originally from?
I was raised as a young boy in Texas, in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And then, my father lost his job, and he took us to New Jersey, and then I was basically raised in New Jersey, New York area.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's
so
cool.
I'm basically a damn Yankee,
Nice.
I was a Southern boy till I was about 9 years old, and then they moved me to the East Coast, and I became a damn Yankee.
Wow.
And you're in Phoenix, you said?
And now I'm in Phoenix, so now I'm Western. I'm Rattlesnake Dan.
You're all over the place.
The Arizona man.
Nice. How's the weather there? Is it?
It's chilly.
Oh, it is. Wow.
It's a little chilly, but we're spoiled. It's like when it's 40s and 50s, we're freezing to death. But the people up people up in the mountains are getting 18, 20 degrees. I don't deal with that anymore. We're down in the valley where it's nice, and it's just pretty warm most of the time, so we're good here.
Now, the other question was, one of the listeners is also wanting to know, you gave us 5 copies of the CD, which I really appreciate. I'm going to give those out in a little bit. But for those who don't win a copy, where can they buy your CD?
They can go to Picker Wives. They can Google Picker Wives website, and my buddy Curtis and his wife Patty are nice enough to put me on their website, and they can order CDs from that site there. They can go on my Facebook and deal with me directly. And they can hear my tunes on SoundCloud, CD Baby, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Reverb Nation, LinkedIn, Twitter. We're all over the place.
Nice.
You know, if you want to look for us, you'll find us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you were listening to the show before, but I think I played at least like 4 tracks off the.
Yeah.
I heard 2 of them, and it was fun listening to them. I heard you I tuned in a little bit late, and I heard Long Road Home, which sounded fine, sounded real good, and then I heard Whiskey, Weed, and Women.
Yeah,
Jimmy loves that song.
Yeah.
That's the number 1 on his hit parade.
So yeah, Robin says, the 3 W's.
I said he said 2 out of 3. I said which 2?
Well, I said to her at least 2 out of 3. I mean, I don't smoke because I can't. I'm not allowed to smoke.
Right.
Because I had a lung issue. So, the weed's out of the question. But the whiskey and the women is just fine.
My buddy Curtis came up with that symbol with the 3 W's and whatnot. Did you look inside the album cover? Did you open it up to see where the credits are inside the?
Yeah. We actually had them out.
So
before.
You saw that?
Yeah, we were looking at it before.
Yeah,
don't you think that's cool? The 3 W's in the circle.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. You should make a T-shirt.
And he loves the
That's exactly what he's doing. He's doing it while we're speaking.
Yeah, make a T-shirt, and then when you do your shows, you can sell them at the shows.
I'm telling you, that would be funny. It would be good too.
It's
Whiskey, Weed, and Women.
Yeah, 3 W's. You can make a T-shirt out of it, and then you could probably get it made up like at a decent price. I get a lot of my promotional stuff from Vistaprint.
Curtis has a contact where he can get me hooked up like that with no problem.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. We're definitely going to do that. That'll be fun. So
you do your show, right? And then you play that song "Whiskey, Weed, and Women." That's the song that's very catchy. It's got the big band sound, the rockabilly, country, all mixed into one. So
that's it.
People are going to be, I find myself saying "Whiskey, Weed, and Women" in my head sometimes when I'm just walking around, because it's just a catchy song, So
that's a good thing.
You're at the show, and now somebody's waving a Whiskey, Weed, and Women T-shirt in front of you. You got to buy it. You know what I mean? So
Well, hell yeah.
It's a memory of that night, and then it's probably going to be your favorite song on that CD. I mean, it's mine. So
well, it is. It was the most fun cutting it. Yeah.
And you told me you called me the other night. I think it was last week or something like that. Tell the story you told me about how they came up with the music for that song, like how they did it. Remember you told me that story?
Oh yeah. Well, I was saying that while we were getting busted up before.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Just to go back real quick. My bass player gave me that title one night, and I got all excited and went home and wrote the darn thing with Jimmy Powers, my lead guitar player. We wrote it over 2 or 3 weeks because of the title. I mean, you can't. Somebody gives you a title, Whiskey, Weed, and Women. If you're a half-assed songwriter, you're going to know that that's a song you need to write. Mm-hmm. And that's how I felt about it. I said, this song has to be written. Mm-hmm. And so, I did what I could with it. And then I called my buddy Jimmy, and he came over, and he put a lot of structure to it. He changed some lines around, made it better than what I had. And between the two of us, we come up with the idea for the horns to mix it with the rockabilly thing, like you said. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted to do. I had that feeling. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but like I was saying, Jimmy wrote the horn parts on his guitar, and he played the horn parts on the guitar, and we sent that demo to the two horn guys that we hired, and they heard that, and a couple of weeks later, they came in, they had written the music and everything, and wow, they nailed it, boy, I'll tell you. I was so impressed. And when I heard those horns, I knew we were getting on the air with it. I don't know to what extent, but we're getting played in the UK on some internet stations, South Africa, some parts of Canada. Where else? I don't know. I can't think offhand. Australia. We're getting airplay with Whiskey, Weed, and Women. I just hope it catches on. So I want to go out and do a show, but we can't go out if we're not going to get paid. Yeah. And you get paid when you get airplay. Enough airplay, we can get booked. That's what I'm hoping for. I got the show. I got a 2-hour show, and if we can get booked, we can do it. But we got to get paid.
Yeah, that's what one of the other listeners was asking, if there was going to be an upcoming performance. They wanted to know if they could catch you somewhere.
Well, but at the moment, no. This CD is just out, and I'm trying to generate interest and promote it to the point where we can get a little, notice and maybe get booked.
Okay.
Now, where you live in Arizona, do they have venues where you guys could maybe possibly book a few gigs, like like a country western bar or something like that?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. They're everywhere. But I don't want to pay to play.
Right.
I'd like to get paid. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on with musicians in every city. They're not being taken care of the way they should be, in my opinion. The money's not there unless you got something going. What are you going to make? $50, $60, $100, and you got to go all afternoon. You got to go for sound checks. You got to carry equipment. You got to set up equipment. You got to keep everything in order. Then you got to break it down, load it up in the car, bring it home, and some of that is not that cool. I did that for a lot of years in the '80s, and if you're not going to get paid, it's almost not worth it to me. As an older guy. By the way, I'm the oldest teenager in Arizona. Okay?
That's funny.
That's what my wife says. You don't grow up.
That's all right.
Hey, I don't want to grow up. I want to stay young forever. I might look old, but I feel young inside.
That's what counts.
Now,
yeah, the music keeps me feeling young. I'll tell you that right now.
And you just started back up doing the music again, right? Just like within the last few years, right?
Well, yeah, I took 25, 30 years off. I took a coffee break, and now I'm back at it.
That's awesome.
And now I'm just as energetic as an older guy. I even surprise myself. Like if I'm on stage with the Plump Tones, I feel like a teenager. The music does that to me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it keeps you young. It keeps you energized.
That's it. That's exactly what it does. So,
Now, have you ever performed that song "Whiskey, Weed, and Women" live?
Not yet. I'm looking to do it though.
Oh, because
I can't wait to do it. In fact.
No, the reason why I ask is because I'm thinking like as soon as that song starts playing, I could see like a bunch of people just like a guy grabbing his girl and they're dancing and because it's got that kind of that pep to it. I could see people dancing to that.
Yep.
That's when you're up on stage and you're seeing people
responding to your music.
Yeah, dancing and having a great time. That's got to make you feel pretty good, right?
Oh, hell yeah. And I want to have that feeling, your words to God's ears. Let's get the airplay going and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's like
well, the CD's great because, Jimmy was showing me the CD before, and on the CD itself, right, there's a picture of a bottle of whiskey, right?
Well, there's a shot. I think it's a shot on the.
There's a glass with a guitar, and inside is the whiskey. Inside the guitar is inside the glass with the whiskey in it.
Yeah, I was gonna have Jimmy hold it up and show show all the listeners what it actually looks like because it's really pretty cool what's on the CD itself.
Yeah,
and that was my buddy Curtis. He came up with that idea and. Really went over well. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. It's really, really cool. So, like he said, we're going to give away some and encourage people to go to your, different sites and pick up a copy.
Well, check your mail because I sent you 3 extra CDs the day before yesterday besides the 3 that you might have gotten. Oh. So I sent 6 besides what you had from Mark. So
very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
them.
Check your mail.
No, I got them, Dan. I got them.
Oh yeah, he's got them in his hand right now.
I got them yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Yep, and then we're going to give them all out tonight, and.
Oh, I love that. The guitar in the glass. That's awesome.
Yeah, it looks like
very cool.
It's like a guitar stir almost,
yeah,
like a drink, like one of them straws, you know?
Yeah, so we were asking you a bunch of questions because we were telling the listeners that when we're finished with the interview that we'll see if they were paying attention, and then we'll ask them some questions, and whoever gets that right, then they get one of the CDs.
Sounds very cool.
Besides Whiskey, Weed, and Women, what's your favorite song? Close to Home?
Close to Home, yeah, that's the one. Out of all of them, that's the one that's closest to my heart. And there's a story behind that one. Howie Rocks, my piano player, he and I met some years back, and he writes and plays music. He was in a band like me for many years, traveling around and doing his thing, and we hooked up and became friendly and whatnot. And I looked at some of his songs, and I saw that he had Close to Home that they had recorded, and I played it, and I said, oh, my God, I heard the piano, I heard the vocal, and I said, wow, I need to sing that song. And it's the first time I've ever wanted to sing someone else's song. When I was a kid playing in bands, growing up, I sang, everybody else's songs. But then when I got older, I started wanting to do my own thing and write my own material, so that's kind of where my head went, writing my own stuff. And
now, is your family they big fans of what you're doing?
Yeah, my wife is totally with it. Years ago, I put her through some changes, but that was a long time ago. But now, yeah, it's fine. My family, my grandkids, my kids, they're all getting a kick out of it.
That's awesome.
Somebody asked if were you involved working with Garth Brooks in any way, shape, or form?
No, the only real big-time artist I was ever involved with was Eddie Arnold. You remember him from years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Eddie Arnold, back in the 80s, I was cutting 45 records in Nashville with a distribution company, and they got us on 400 or 500 stations, startup stations and whatnot. And Eddie Arnold, during that time, his manager, Jerry Purcell, I'll never forget it, he called me and said, we want to have a meeting. And I said, what? A meeting? He said, yeah, we want to do your City Lights song. I had written a song called City Lights, and BMI was tracking it, and I was making a few dollars on it here and there. And somehow Eddie Arnold's band got wind of it, and they picked it up, and they did it in Atlantic City. They did it in a big show in London and Australia. And I said, well, to the guys in the band at the time, I said, we're on our way. Eddie Arnold's doing our song.
Nice. Yeah, that's
all these things. I had a lot of close calls back in the day, and that's what drew me in again. When I had time and didn't have to, drive a truck every day, I started thinking music again. So here we are.
Well, that's awesome because you've never lost sight of that dream.
No, it's always been there, and now because of the band, because of the guys I'm hanging out with, they're so damn talented. They took me under their wing. They're all. I can honestly say they're all way more talented than I am. I write some cute lyrics and stuff, and I sing them the best I can, but without the plum tones, there is no Danny Roberts. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now, if you had one opportunity to work with any country artist, who would it be?
Past or present?
Past, present.
Willie Nelson would be my first choice because I've been chasing him for years.
Really?
Yeah, I wrote songs that I thought would be good for him years ago. I followed him around to shows and whatnot. One time he was coming out of Madison Square Garden in New York City, and we were in New York at the time, and I knew which part of the building he was coming out, so I waited for his limo, and he rolled the window down, and I'm running alongside of him on 8th Avenue with a cassette in my hand. At that time, I had a cassette. I said, Willie, I wrote a song for you. And then another time I met him backstage in Nashville, but he was surrounded by people, and I couldn't get through. I had tried to get a few tunes to him. I think Whiskey, Weed, and Women, to be honest with you, is a tribute to his life, not mine so much, his.
Yeah, I mean, see him singing that for sure.
Yeah, Whiskey, Weed, and Women, if we get enough airplay, maybe a guy like Willie, I know he's getting older now, but you never know, somebody like him could really put it over.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would like it, to be honest.
I would like it as a writer, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure you would, but what I'm saying is I just don't see anybody else doing that song except for you now. Now that I heard you do it.
Yeah, I did it. I own it, and that's it. I sang it the way I did, and if somebody can do it better, God bless them, and go for it. Because if somebody else puts it out, I still got to make 10 cents, you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, no, if you get someone like Tim McGraw or somebody like that says, "Hey, Danny, I want to use Whiskey, Weed, and Women," of course you're going to take the opportunity because you're going to make a boatload off of that.
Oh, are you kidding me?
You know?
I give it to them in 5 minutes.
You'd be,
yep.
That would probably
put you in a good position.
Put you in a good position, maybe to work with other people. If they hear.
Well, yeah, that would be fine. Again, your words to God's ears. Anything like that would be wonderful. But we'll see.
Well, we're going to spread the word.
I mean, the just the lyrics to the song, just they're very catchy and very creative. I like them.
They're heartfelt.
Oh yeah,
they came out of my heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So have you dealt with the hair of the dog a lot throughout your life, or is that just something you thought would be catchy in the song?
I have not been an angel, but I have never been in trouble, in real trouble. Okay, let's put it that way.
I understand.
I'm a survivor.
Right.
I'm a survivor. That's all, and I never had an alcoholic problem or a drug problem per se.
Mm-hmm.
We've all gotten drunk one time or another, being silly.
Kidding. You ain't kidding.
But I've never been beat. Yeah, I mean, we all do that. Sometimes too much wine at a friend's house or something.
Uh-huh.
But we're all guilty of that. But as far as being like an alkie and going to the bar in the afternoon, no, I've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
No.
No, I know. I'm just, I like I said, I just like, the lyrics in the song. It's just, you could tell when you hear a song written like that, you could tell that a lot of it is like, from
been there, done that.
Yeah, been there, done that, life experience, or even maybe not necessarily
your life.
You might have witnessed it, through someone, watching somebody else as well, too.
It's funny that you said that because Devil in the Bottle, my brother, God bless him, he's still alive, and he's an alcoholic his whole life. I wrote Devil in the Bottle for my brother. Jimmy Powers asked me one time, about a year after we did Devil in the Bottle, Jimmy says, "Hey, that song we did a couple of years ago, whatever, with Devil in the Bottle." I said, "What about it?" He said, "How did you write that? Why did you write that?" I said, "I wrote it for my brother." Mm-hmm. And my brother was, and always will be, a stoned alcoholic till the day he dies. He's been on the street for out here in Phoenix for a good many years.
Wow.
And my wife and I did everything under the sun to help him get an apartment, get a trailer to live in, to do this and that. But, Devil in the Bottle was an inspiration. Unfortunately, I wrote it for my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, that's, I guess, songs have to come from, your experiences. That's where I write from.
Right, and it's not necessarily, like you said, your experience, but either something you've witnessed or something that, you've heard about that resonates with you. Exactly.
But Whiskey, Weed, and Women is my favorite song right now. I think it's going to do well for us. I think maybe a publisher might hear it and call us up and say, "Hey, we're going to do that song." That would be, great.
Well, we're definitely going to play it a few more times tonight.
Yeah,
that's great.
What you should do is, maybe you should reach out, like, to if there's like some country music forums on Facebook. Maybe you could drop a, your CD information on one of them group pages, and then maybe someone will hear, people will hear it from that as well.
One never knows when the whistle blows.
You know, and like I said, you know, if you want to, anytime you want to post one of your songs or one of your videos on my Facebook group page or on my Facebook, you go right ahead.
Yeah, the listeners are like, let's hear it. Let's hear the song. They're like so anxious to hear it now. We've been talking about it.
Yeah. No, that's, I'll tell you, the best thing you did was put Whiskey, Weed, and Women as the first song on the CD, because
I think so.
Because once you pop it in the deck and you start hearing those horns going and everything, it's like those catchy lyrics, it just reels you right in, and then you're like, let's see what he's going to do next, and then then before you know it, you're on track 6 already because you're so into the music, you know.
Well, I hope other people feel the way you do, Jim. I appreciate you liking us like that. That's fun to know, really.
Yeah, and I definitely want to have you. I definitely want to have you back on again because I really would like to tape this, the interview and put it on my YouTube page because all my other interviews are up on there. And
yeah, well, we'll do that. I'll call you in a few days or whatever. I'll get back in touch with you, and we'll work that out.
All right. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry for the inconvenience in the beginning.
No, that's all right. We learned. I learned how to do an interview. I didn't think I would be good at it, but I'm learning.
You did a great
next
job.
Time, it'll be better next time.
Well, you did great. Thank you so much.
Well, it was just a technical glitch, and it was throwing you off and throwing me off, and it was just like,
I know.
It kept hanging up, and it was like, oh my God, what's going on here? And I'm saying to Robin, do you hear that? And it's like, I hear this operator going, leave a message, hit this button. I'm like, where is that coming from? Like, it's like it never happened before, and I felt really bad.
I felt really bad too. I mean, people tuned in. I got a lot of friends that were tuning in tonight, and I'm sorry they had to hear that. But we'll get together again soon, and you and I will talk. I'll give you a call in a few days, and we'll discuss. We'll do it again, and we'll make it better next time.
And the feedback, people in the chat room right now are saying it was a great interview, great job. So it came off really well. So don't fret too much.
Yeah.
Well, we were just natural. We're like old buddies now. So it's just a natural thing,
And when you
no big deal.
When you come to Jersey to visit Mark, I definitely want to go out, hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, I promise you that'll happen. I give you my word, that will happen, and that'll be a fun day.
You can have whiskey and weed, but no women.
Yeah.
No women.
Well, I can only have whiskey.
All right, you have the whiskey.
Because I can't, like I said, I can't smoke. I don't smoke anymore. So.
You guys sound like fun to hang out with.
Yeah. Yep. My wife's pretty fun.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right, yeah. Sound like my wife.
But
yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know Jimmy really appreciates it too.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this for a couple of weeks, and I'm glad that you came on because I had a good time.
It was fun, Jim. It was fun, and I appreciate you. And play the hell out of that song. Maybe somebody with a little clout will hear it, and we'll get out there.
Yep, we're going to play that song right now, and then we're going to start giving away some of your CDs. And
all right, my brother.
Yeah, give me a call during the week, and we'll chat again.
You got it. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All right, take care, Danny.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Danny Roberts, and here's a song we've been talking about. It's called Whiskey, Weed, and Women. Check it out.
Got me thinking all my drinking.
It's a catchy song, right?
Yes,
Whiskey, weed, and women.